You know what's awesome? Being the most ideal person on the planet. Yes, literally, there is absolutely nothing wrong with me. I am the most woke, most humble, most handsome, most best at everything in the world, including Forex trading, aside from the traders that are better than me. But ignore those guys. This is Hunter FX. Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be looking at trading the trend and how I am specifically trading the trend. I just did a video there yesterday with Ichimoku clouds there, watching some guy doing the Ichimoku clouds. I'm going to tell you guys how I trade the trend. I've previously done a series on this. I'm just going to spin it around a little bit, give you guys a nice concise version of what I would be doing if I was looking to trend trade. I'm going to sum everything up very easily for you to understand. And then if you guys do want to watch that series, it is a price action based trend trading series. That's what it's called there. You can find it on my channel. Go ahead and look for it. I might link it up there. I might link up another eye there so that you can see the video from yesterday. That's right. I just stuttered and I didn't edit it out. That's how real we are here, except for everything fake that we do, obviously. But let's jump into it. All right, guys, hold your asses because you're about to shit yourself. Just kidding. It's not that crazy. It's actually pretty simple what we're going to be doing. And I'm going to break it down super simple because I am the best educator in the world, just like I'm the best everything else, including humble. So if we're looking to jump into this Euro USD trend here, and we're more of a day trader style, then what we're going to be doing is we're going to look at that larger time frame. I always have the upper time frame, the higher time frame on the upper side here so that we can follow the trend on the higher time frame, right? I briefly talked about this in that last video there, trying to improve that guy's Ichimoku strategy, and we'll probably watch his next version actually as well at some point and react to that because I think he did an updated version also. But the first thing that we need to realize is when the trend is actually going to be starting. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking for proof that the trend has actually changed on the higher time frame. That's the first thing that we need to be looking for, right? So if we're looking at maybe this point here, if we're looking at maybe this point here and we saw a downtrend on that higher time frame and then we saw this reversal here, how do we know that this reversal is actually going to be the reversal, right? How do we know when this is going to be the reversal? Well, first of all, we're looking to see what levels it's breaking the other direction, right? So if we're making this consolidation range here, and that's the high of the range, and that's the move that brings us down, right? If I make it very simple, that's the move that brings us down. By the way, guys, if I go over anything too quickly and make things a little bit complicated, please jump and watch my streams, and you should be able to understand things much better after you watch a couple streams. Guys, my streams are where you're going to learn things in much more detail, but this is where I'm going to just give you a good gist so you know what I do, right? So you're going to see this move down, and you're going to see it break up above this range here, and then you're going to have to make sure that that area is actually acting as support. So if we draw a kind of a box here where the levels that we just broke above from, and we see that it's actually acting as support there, then we can say for sure that this has now acted as support after we've broken the trend in this direction, right? So we break the trend and then we prove that the zone that we just broke out of, which is all of this range, is acting as support, and then we're going for a rally. This is a little bit odd situation, so I'm going to show you an even better situation right after this. Here is a really good example. I was talking about it recently on stream here. We have this odd USD uptrend. So what do we want to know when that trend is going to be switching to the other side? First of all, this is the very most important thing that we need to know. What is the trend, right? What do we need to know? It's the trend so that we can actually follow it, right? So if we know the trend is going up, we need to know when it's going to be not going up anymore or when it's shifted to the downside. That's why I'm breaking it down like this, just so you guys can understand that a little bit clearer. So we see that we now have broken the levels, the range. If I just kind of draw like a box here, this zone, right? Or the moves that are bringing us to the highs there, right? Again, if it's a little bit confusing, please check out the streams. You will understand things very, very quickly while watching those streams. I break it down very easily for you. And so that's the move, bringing it up, and then we've broken it down to the other side there. Now, what do? We need to make sure that that area is acting as support or resistance this time, rather. And you can see that it actually does act as resistance, but it would have stopped you out if you had tried to jump into a counter trend trade immediately, because it would have stopped you out with that little wick. That's just a little liquidity grab, and this is showing weakness in the market, and then it's going for a liquidity grab, grabbing a little bit extra stops so that the big players can get their orders filled and then move it to the downside. Now then, so that area didn't actually act as support right away, but now we see the same thing happening. We see these moves, see this consolidation area, and it's being broken down quite quickly. Now what do? We say, okay, where are the untested levels, right? We look for untested areas right around here. I got a purple zone right there that I've drawn out previously, and I said I need to let's just draw it roughly, right? I need to know that this area is going to be resistance. It could be anywhere in there as long as it's not breaking highs, right? So it comes in this zone. I've drawn it perfectly because I'm using supply and demand logic there, and you guys will learn that very quickly if you don't know already. It's quite simple, and you can sniper the entries that way. So we now see that this is doing the same sort of thing, right? You're seeing it slow down and then break trend very aggressively to the downside. We're seeing these levels being broken, and again it comes up for a little bit of retrace, something like that. So now I've proven that this area is acting as what? Resistance. So I know that the trend is now down, right? Because we're breaking the trend here, and then we've proven that it's resistance, and then we're breaking the trend down again. So now I'm comfortable, looking for shorts in the market there. I did enter a short there. I think it was doing pretty well, at least for now, and we might have done decently well on it so far, but we're not completely sure how it's going to go for sure. But now we're just going to be following the trend. So we know that the trend on the higher time frame is now to the downside. So what do? We don't just jump in right away like a bunch of FOMO losers. No, we think like a monk. We sit there, we're confident, and we're humble, and we're handsome, and we're gorgeous, and we're eating chips while we're staying lean, and I don't know, we're not losing our hair because we're not stressed. All right, what do? Well, I sniped an entry here based off of the supply demand. That's not important. That's not what this video is about. What we're going to be looking for is these pullbacks, right? So we're going to see that dump outside of the range, and then we're going to look for a pullback. We're going to look for any level, any way that you would define some sort of resistance. I use supply and demand. You could use fib. You could use a moving average. You could use the cloud, man, the cloud from the last video. Anything that you want to define a support and resistance area on. I use supply and demand because it's accurate. I like accuracy. I'm a sniper sitting there in my backyard with a freaking sniper sniping, I don't know, squirrels? I don't know. Maybe squirrels. Maybe I just got the scope and I'm peeping on people. Who knows? So, Jesus, I got distracted, man. God, that's so freaking stupid. Oh, man. Okay. So now what do? We're going to be looking for these areas to come back into, right? So whatever zone you defined as the resistance. And as it goes into that area, you're going to look for slowing action. So you can see that very strong move, and then we start slowing down. And again, we're seeing that same structure being broken down. These moves that are bringing us to new highs are being broken to the downside. Now that we've actually had a retrace, and then we've broken down into that trend, that's when you can start looking for entries, and then you're going to follow that trend. And your targets is not super important in this video. I'm not going to be giving you exact targets, but what I would tell you, look for untested levels, look for highs and lows. That's what I go for. and then make sure that your trade is actually a solid risk reward ratio. So if we jump back to Euro USD, let's look at how that would work if we've now defined that this is the uptrend. So let's say we got in right around this area here. Let me put that on the 15-minute here. And we wanted to day trade this because why? I'm a day trader, right? So what I would do is I would say, okay, I'm getting in right around here, guys. Okay, so I wait for the pullback. The trend now changes in the other direction on the lower time frame. That is the key. The trend will come into the other direction. So it's now a downtrend on the lower time frame. Again, you can define it in a different way than how I'm defining it. I'm using candle structure to define the trend. And then you look for the trend change to the upside again. So now you're looking, and you can even see a little bit of support right here after it's changed trend there, a little bounce off of that area there. That's the order block of interest, and you can see that was a really good entry if I had taken it. I don't remember if I took it or not. And then you're actually going to end up being able to get this nice confident area. Let me switch that around. And let's say you were to enter right around here after it changes trend back to the upside. You put your stop below there. Now you're going to be confident because why? The upper trend, the higher time frame trend is going up, and the lower time frame trend is also now going up, so you can safely follow that trend. And I'll tell you guys, 7 out of 10 times you're going to be right with it. You're just going to have to wait and get these timings right. Let's look. There's another pullback back here, I think, right here, right? See a nice little pullback. The trend changed, and then you see it coming back in the other direction. It's actually not super clean here. I wouldn't be taking this because just based off of my structure, that's not how I would do. But you can see right here, here's another example. So we are in that uptrend, right? Uptrend on the high time frame still, and then we're coming back again. Notice that we're looking for these zones, and I'm just going to loosely draw them because the point of this video is not to define exactly what you guys should be doing, but to give you an idea. So any zone, this is the area. You can see the zones that I actually particularly liked. I drew it right here because that was the area of interest for me to buy. As it comes into that zone, I then draw my levels. I draw my levels for my reversal, and I say, okay, it's breaking back up into the trend here. Where am I going to enter? I'm going to enter right away, or I'm going to wait for a little bit of a pullback, get a nicer entry, something like that. Put my stop below, let my targets trail along to wherever. I'm not going to get into that. That's not important in this video. Again, moving on here, you can see just anywhere. I think we might have looked at that one. Anywhere right here, maybe. You can see we're looking at a high here, a solid pullback into an untested important area. Again, that's how I'm looking at it. I like to look at untested areas right there. That's untested because there was no pullback to it. So now we know that that's a good buy area. Then it slows as it's coming into that zone. We see some consolidation, and then obviously we didn't get in on that candle because it exploded out, but you could have gotten in on that very quick pullback, because again, this is untested area, and then just completely rocketed out. I'm not telling you for sure that that's what you would be able to do, because that does take a lot of practice to do that, but this is how I do it. And you're going to be comparing the higher time frame with the lower time frame, waiting for that pullback on the lower time frame, and then the continuation back into the higher time frame trend and the lower time frame confirmation, so that both equaling each other, and then you guys can follow the trend like a freaking pro, no matter what strategy you use. Thanks for watching the video, guys. That's my time. If you like this content, please, again, check out the streams. I can explain things in a little bit more detail. Also, join the Discord, and there's a lot of people in there that will make fun of you for not knowing things, but it's okay. Just ignore them. But please make sure that you subscribe and like my video.